So here we are on day 4, I believe. We've stopped at our second stop. We spent 2 days at the original campsite just so that we were able to recharge after doing the 52 miles and get the trailer fixed and make sure we had the right planning set up. So we travelled 34 miles yesterday. Some of those hills, the 10% gradients that go for about a mile, those are the things that are the killers. They were putting a lot of strain. I was going up them at 2 mile an hour. So ideally we might head to Brighton to get a smaller cog for the front, just so that this thing can pull up hills. I'm wondering if a 36 tooth will do it. So we'll see what happens there. But otherwise it's been great. There's only been one slight other hiccup, just the other joints. So it's all of these little joints that were breaking, and that's what broke on the back of the trailer, and that's what snapped over here. But thankfully this farm here actually saved us and gave me some brackets so we can continue on our journey. So this is Oakley Hill, I think it's Oakley Farm, in Newbury. Very nice little place. They have a little shower, toilet area. A tennis court back there. Very reasonable prices, so if you're heading around Newbury side, it's worth stopping by and enjoying this location. So we're heading down towards Southampton now, Botley for our raw milk source. It's another 38 miles. We've covered 89 miles so far, so it's been a long trip. So we had to change the chains yesterday. They were stretched too much. I think I changed mine after 120 miles of use, just before it stretched too far that it ruined the rear sprocket. And we've done the same with Annabella's, so that's one thing on the list to get, as a chain checker and a spare set of chains, so that if it's over 120 miles, that's not so bad. It'll probably cost about the same as putting fuel in the car, so at least it's being spent on green travel. But there we have it. We're going to set off some pretty steep gradients again, but after we get past the first 10 miles it's going to be a pretty easy route straight down, because the lowest is 40 something feet, the highest is 600 something feet, so we'll be ending around 46 something feet where the farm is, so straight journey onto the sea after that. So we spent a couple of hours, well, a good few hours stuck here. Thankfully a friendly man came to help us, who gave us a lift to a bicycle shop to get some parts. But essentially we've now got 2 new rims on Annabella's bicycle. So heads up folks, there's something that I didn't even realise about, was this groove here along the rim is where the brakes, from someone who's had this bike before, ran the brakes right down and dug into the rim. Now the rear wheel isn't here to show you, but it shaved a whole piece of that off the rim where it had worn down. So that tore through her inner tube and gave her a flat. So thankfully someone helped us, and we now have a fully working bicycle again, and hopefully we'll set on our way and be at Southampton a lot later on this evening. So it's just amazing what kind of people we meet along the way. The original accident where the cog came off the derailleur, someone was there to help us with that, and again someone was here, a very nice chap who has bees down the road and keeps honeybees. And yes, and a man stopped and gave her water while we were away, while she was sitting in the sun. And just up the road, there's actually a raw milk place. So if we don't get to get away this evening, there's a place we can get some food. So it was an eventful day, and yes, be aware of those rims. I didn't know that groove meant that it was wearing down, and both of the rims were knackered. So 2 new rims. I highly recommend this place that I was taken to get the rims. They worked on the bicycle immediately. They worked on the rim immediately, had everything ready and together in no time. So keep those in mind if you want some reliable bicycle parts. Big thanks to them for what they did for us today. So there we go. Somehow synchronicity played its part, and we're back on the road and ready to travel. So here we are, we made it to our final destination for the evening, and we pedalled hard with 28 miles to go with a lot of assist, but we still came away with about 79% of our battery remaining. Anyway, this is one of my favourite raw Jersey milk places. We live off raw Jersey milk because it's hydrating, it has all the butter fat that you need and whatnot, and I've been living off raw milk for about 2 years now. And aside from that, it is a diverse diet because I eat everything that's in season and forage and live off the land. So this is a great place to stop over if you're coming down towards Southampton. The sun's in the way there. So we've had a pretty hectic journey today with the bicycle wheel breaking, but it has been a good ride. The sun is unfortunately in the way, I believe, unless you can just about see the cows in the field. Maybe I'll capture a better image later on. You can just about see them. They are happy cows. When we came here last time, they were coming out of the parlour, and they just would stop and love having a stroke and a pet, and they'd go running off into this top field up here, which is where we'll be camping tonight. We've travelled about 139 miles, or 37 miles, I cannot remember, I need to do some calculations, but it's been quite the journey. I wonder if you can see the cow just there. Can't quite see with this screen. But this is in Botley. So now we've just got to plan our journey straight to the coast. We'll probably head towards Brighton because there's an e-bike place down there where I can get some parts for the bicycle, maybe another sprocket, because when we were down, where we broke down, the guy that came to help us, he kept honeybees down there, and funnily enough, the area we broke down is actually called Watership Down, which is where the old 70s film about the rabbits trying to find a new home under the tree was created from. Apparently the cartoon has a like-for-like map to the actual area. It's fascinating. I grew up watching that as a child, so it's a movie that's quite close to the heart. So this is us for the evening. Going to settle now, relax after today. Nearly worried that we were going to be stranded in the middle of Watership Down, but that hill that I showed you in the previous video, that is where Watership Down was.